Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday, which means another Financial Fundamentals. I'm Brett, and you have tuned in to yet another Friday episode. Um, we're gonna do a pretty easy kind of little catch up and looking forward here. Um, talking about building some financial resilience, so we can stay on track through life's curveballs. So yeah, it's a new week. Glad you're here. Um, and yeah, this happens to everybody. Life's gonna throw us curveballs. So financial resilience, that's all about having the tools and strategies and mindset to handle the ups and downs without losing sight of our goals. Same with living in recovery every day as well. So if you haven't yet and you're just tuning in, you can support the channel, like and subscribe, set the notification bell so you never miss an episode. But yeah, let's jump right in. What you can expect out of this, we're gonna go over how to build a financial safety net that'll kind of protect you when these emergencies pop up and unexpected expenses arise. Um, then I'll go over some practical tips for managing unexpected expenses without derailing your progress that you've already made. And then last, we'll go over some mindset shifts to help stay calm, focused, and resilient no matter what life throws at you. So first, we want to build that safety net. So what why it's important? Well, think of financial resilience like a safety net or support's holding you up. Something that'll catch you when life doesn't go as planned. Without it, even those small setbacks can feel overwhelming. So, with the right preparation, we can handle these challenges with confidence, and it won't shake us off of our plan and our progress that we've made. So, some steps that we are going to want to focus on in order to build this safety net. First, having an emergency fund. A lot of people will that you find, that do financial podcasts or financial YouTube channels or things like that. They'll talk about a 3 month um, emergency fund. Um, that's a good start. The goal I think should be longer. It should be more like 6, even maybe 12 months, if eventually. But we start with the small steps and keep building. So if you don't have anything yet, the goal obviously we want to aim to get a 3 month emergency fund. So something that'll cover 3 months of all of your expenses. Once we get to that, then we want to build that out to 6 months. So in our previous episodes, we've went over our budgeting to look at our expenses and kind of calculate that out. And so if we know that for easy math, if we know that we're spending $2,000 a month for all of our fixed expenses, then our emergency fund should be 3 months. So 2,000 times three. So we should have $6,000 as an emergency fund. Um, the ideal scenario, in my opinion, is having at least 6 months. So in this case, it'd be 12,000. And I know it seems like a big number, and you're not just going to be able to flip a switch and have that overnight. So we want to be able to start making progress towards that. So even starting, with 500 or $1,000 in a emergency fund can make a huge difference when these unexpected costs come up, like car repair or an unexpected medical bill, um, or anything like that. So again, going back to our previous episodes, when we're automating our contributions so that it's out of sight and it just automatically goes where it's supposed to, then it's automatically going in the right account, and we already know that we're making progress towards building that emergency fund. Another thing that is important in order to have this safety net, and um, the degrees to which this is going to impact you or is relevant is going to vary based on your circumstances. But checking your insurance coverage, whether it's renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, car insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, all of those things, making sure that you have the right coverage, the right balance of coverage versus cost, to make sure that you can be covered if something comes up, if something happens. And then, in addition to that, having a plan, having what we call contingency planning. So like a what if plan. So common scenarios that can come up, like an extended illness or medical situation where somebody can't work and is all of a sudden not collecting that paycheck. What are you gonna do? So having thought about this ahead of time, you can have a plan. So maybe it's, well, if all of a sudden we find ourselves in this situation, we're going to skip, our normal date nights going out for dinners and focus on having you know, making dinners at home, or and being able to kind of adjust those things around and have already thought about how um adjustments can be made so that it's not as much of a surprise. Having a what if plan in place, um, or like big car repair, flat tire that happens, you get a blowout while you're driving and it causes damage to the car and you got to get the car repaired. Um, what what do you do in that situation? So having talked about it and thought about it ahead of time, um, it makes it less of a surprise, and you've already got a plan in mind as far as what you might be able to do and what your next steps will be. So just already having a plan will reduce that stress and anxiety if that situation arises. So being prepared for it. So uh, some practical tips for handling emergencies, that we've got. So, you know, when the thing actually happens, when that situation that you were putting your what if plan together for actually occurs, if you're a homeowner, broken water heater, that one happens a lot. Or an unplanned medical bill. You had a trip to the ER, and now you've got a unexpected medical expense you got to pay for, or um, you know, kids need new glasses, or whatever the case is. Um, Here's some ways to approach it without completely derailing any of the progress that you've already made. So first, with cash flow, um, how to adjust that cash flow strategy. So if possible, um, what are called sinking funds. So like kind of slush funds or things like that, where you've got some other little accounts set aside for those varying or irregular expenses. And we've talked about this in previous episodes as well, as having aside from that main expense account, or that main emergency expense account, having those variable occasional expenses, like maybe it's holiday gifts or things like that, where you've got some money set aside for unexpected events. Maybe it's weddings, but you've got an account with a little bit of money in there. Focus on using that first, because that emergency fund, we don't actually want to dip into that unless it's a true emergency. This is going to impact for a while. It's going to be a significant impact where there's somebody who's out of a job unexpectedly or something like that. So ideally, you want to leave that there for the big emergencies, not the littler ones, if it can be absorbed into one of those smaller accounts. Um, then sometimes, timing isn't always good. These things happen before we've got these accounts completely ready for it. And so sometimes we do have to take on debt. So it might be unavoidable. So in that case, the priority should obviously be low interest or no interest loans or credit cards. If there's a credit card that has an introductory 0% offer or something like that for the first year, um, you know that is a case where it might make sense to take advantage of that sparingly. Obviously, we don't want to use that account for anything other than the absolute necessities, but having something where you've got, a low or no interest credit line means that you're only going to be on the hook for paying back what you actually spend rather than paying back a bunch of interest as well. Because those credit card rates, that they'll soak you really quick. Um, See also previous episode about the rule of 72. If you're looking at a 30% interest rate, it's only a couple of years, a little over 2 years before you have that account balance doubles um, with those interest payments. So, or interest fees tacked on there. So if you are in a situation where you need to take on debt, if it's unavoidable, it does happen. Be smart about it and make a plan to make sure that gets paid off as quick as possible. And if it's one of those 0% introductory offers, get it paid off before those interest fees start kicking in. Um, if you need to negotiate different payment plans with creditors. So, you call them up, call the credit cards, call whatever service providers, even call landlord to see if you can negotiate a payment plan or lower rates. Uh, Many are willing to work with you. Um, the Being proactive is in your favor. They would much rather see you contact them before it's a problem and before it's an issue, and just say, like, here's my situation, and be specific. Say, this is currently what my payment is. Here's what my actual budget needs to be. Can we negotiate for this duration? Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year. Can we negotiate 6 payments or 12 payments at a lower monthly payment until this situation passes? A lot of them will be willing to work with you, especially if you've got a plan to then, you know, make it right afterwards or anything like that. And then there's always looking at community resources and assistance programs. A lot of these run on grants, um, and they have to use that grant money, and a lot of times um, the, the they don't necessarily um, always have folks that are taking full advantage. So it always helps to um, explore those community resources and reach out to your support system too. There's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help. You can always reach out on our socials, on our Discord, um, and see if anybody else has any connections or knows of any resources that might be available in the area. Um, yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help. I think it's uh, an important lesson to learn, and I think that's something that we've experienced in recovery. Is we realized that we couldn't do it on our own, and so asking for help meant that that was the realization that, like, hey, I'm not giving up. I have a job to finish. I have a mission to complete. I'm trying to get myself to a better life. And sometimes you need to ask for help, and that's why we've got people in our corner. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Um, so mindset shifts, some things to reframe kind of how we're um, looking at the situation, looking at the um, challenge that comes up, um, to be able to approach it better, be less stressed, have less anxiety about it. Um, you know, that makes a huge difference in how quickly we are able to deal with a situation as well as how effectively. If we can just maintain the right mindset in those situations. And I know easier said than done sometimes, but things that we can try to work on, I'm always trying to get better. So in no way do I think I'm anywhere close to perfect. So I'm always trying to improve here. So um, acceptance, just accepting that the thing happened. Like life is unpredictable. We know this. So accepting the setbacks, accepting that it happened, accepting that they're going to continue to happen, and it just makes it a lot easier to face the current one with kind of a mindset of, instead of like, oh, why me? Why did this happen to me? It's more of a, okay, here's the current thing. How do we do this? What's next? What do I do? How do I fix this? Um, and just knowing that we didn't have control over the fact that it happened. Um, we just don't have control over those things. And so the thing we do have control over is how we respond. So shifting that focus from the thing that happened, why it happened to me, who's to blame, any of that, it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't solve the situation. So channeling that energy and focusing on the steps that I can take to address this. What do I need to do right away? What needs to get done by the end of the week? What needs to get done by the end of the month? And start putting together a timeline of steps that need to be taken in order to absorb this hit. Um, will go a long way to staying on track um, with the bigger financial goals, because just know that it's not going to be a one-off. There's going to be challenges. I know they're going to happen. Um, when, how bad, and how frequent, no idea. So if I let the next one knock me off track, then I'm that much less prepared for the one that follows. So it's just a matter of, okay, here's the thing that happened. What do I have to do in order to not let this completely destroy the work that I've done and the progress I've made? Here's what needs to happen. Here's what I've got to do by the end of the day today. Here's what I got to get done in the next 2 days. Here's what I got to get done by the end of the week, and just make a plan and start chipping away at it, um and keep in mind that it's just about progress. Just like everything else we do in recovery, there's not going to be a perfect solution. There's not going to be a perfect way to handle it. We're going to stumble. um so again, reach out if you have questions. If something happens and you're not sure what the best way forward is, ask ask other folks. People have been overcoming obstacles for a very long time. So we reach out to our network, we reach out to the folks we know um, that have been there before, and get get their perspective, take their input, and assess, right? I'm not saying everybody's going to always have the best advice and you should just do everything everybody tells you, but they may have a different perspective, and it may inform a better decision that you can make. Um, and along the way, celebrate your progress. Especially when it comes to overcoming these challenges. Um, Being able to take a hit and realize, like, this didn't end my progress. This didn't end all of the work that I've been doing. So I was able to actually plan ahead for this. I've got an idea of what to do, and I took these steps, and um be proud of that. Celebrate the wins, even if they're little wins. The keeping ourselves positive and encouraged is especially important, overcoming these challenges. So, um, and I've said it multiple times already, but um, lean on the people in your recovery community. Ask for advice, ask for even just fresh perspective, or even just to ask for somebody that you can vent to. And you know if that's all you need, and just say, hey, all I need right now is somebody to vent to, and just let it out, because sometimes that's all we need. And sometimes just saying it out loud, we'll have an aha moment after we kind of spell it out for somebody else, and we'll get an idea of, oh wait, actually maybe this might be a better way to go about this. So yeah. um I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but I just wanted to um touch on some things that are inevitable. As we're making progress, there's going to be some times when we've got to take a step back, and we've got to recoup from, some unexpected challenge or change or expense in our progress. So that's okay. That's going to happen. It's going to be normal. So I just wanted to touch on it for a bit today, and again, encourage everybody to reach out, connect with us out on Discord. The links are in the description. So hop on there, connect with us, ask questions, um, and I'd love to connect and help celebrate the wins on the way, as well. So yeah, I guess, to recap, we talked about building financial safety net today, unexpected expenses. So having that emergency fund, 3 to 6 months to start, and then build from there up to even 12 months. So having that runway of cushion, uh, to absorb unexpected events is huge for relieving stress and anxiety on that, because you've got money saved up, prepared for these kind of situations. Um, and then, um, on top of the emergency fund, um, checking out, and reviewing your insurance coverage. So, renter's coverage or homeowner's insurance, whichever situation you're in, car insurance, medical, health, vision, dental, um, all of that, and making sure that there's a good balance there as far as the coverage that you're getting, what deductibles are, and things like that, copays, all of that, versus what you're paying, to make sure that the um, coverage to cost makes sense for your situation. Um, and then, um, you know, go through those contingency plans, go through making the what if plans, for some of the more common things, for your situation. And, as we get older, um, unexpected expenses are going to tend to get more expensive as well. So, just having a plan and having thought about it ahead of time takes a lot of the surprise out of it. And so we're prepared and ready when it occurs, so it doesn't have as much of a chance to be as impactful for as long. Um, so um, yeah, that's what I've got for you for this week. Um, as always, I appreciate you tuning in. If you would, um, we'd appreciate it if you would, um, you know, leave a comment down below. And if you like the show, like and subscribe. Um, let some friends know if you think other folks might enjoy it. If you have questions or want to see anything else, or want me to talk about any specific topics, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to take a look at it, and we'll get something together. So, um, yeah. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Friday. Take care, everybody.